Wonder which one I should take. Should be Bachelorette number 1, number 2, or number 3. If I was on this show, it wouldn't really matter. Because I am a ladies' man, you know. Anyway, but enough about that. Get ready as I talk about the dating game on the wide world of game shows right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Wide World of Game Shows. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and this time I bring to you another episode of the Wide World of Game Shows. This time around, I'm going to be talking about another show from the mind of the late great Chuck Barris. Yes. Now, this was really something. Before he even gave us the Newlywed Game, he gave us this game where you could actually see one gal, well, a lucky gal that is, try to pick one of 3 bachelors in the hopes of going on a date with them. Or it could be one guy picking one of 3 bachelorettes. That just depends and what have you. Anyway, I really think this is pretty good. I never got to watch a whole lot of it. I wasn't really big into this game though, but I showed some respect for it though. Though I did watch a little bit of a later version of it. But anyway, get ready, because now I'm about to bring to you the one, the only, the dating game. The dating game was produced by Chuck Barris and originally premiered on ABC in 1965. The show's host was Jim Lang, and it would be revived a few times and what have you, as it would be a precursor to other types of shows like Love Connection, which I'll be doing next time. It had one guy pick one of 3 bachelorettes, or a woman picking one of 3 bachelors. This game was pretty fun though. Anyway, yep, this was a big success and what have you. Another big success for Barris, who, of course, the following year after this would do the Newlywed Game, which also was shown on ABC. Now, the show ran until 1973 as ABC dropped the show, but it continued for one more year in syndication as the New Dating Game. But of course, let's see. Then after that, it was revived 3 more times. First time in 1978, which ran for 2 more seasons. And then in 1986, it ran until 1989. And then a third season, which the one I actually got to see a little bit of from 96 to 99. And then more recently in 2021, but that didn't last that long. Anyway, now the host of the game was Jim Lang. He hosted the whole run. Now the first and of course, well, he also hosted both of the syndicated versions as well. The 1986 revival was hosted by Elaine Joyce for its first season and Jeff McGregor for its remaining 2 seasons. Then it was back in 96 and Brad Sherwood was named its host. In the final 2 seasons, it was hosted by Chuck Woolery, who of course hosted Love Connection. Anyway, now beginning the following year, the show was often paired with the Newlywed Game. This was especially true when the 2 shows entered syndication. In 96, the revivals were sold together as a package called the Dating Newlywed Hour. The program was originally broadcast in black and white, but when a primetime version began in October '66, both versions were broadcast in color, making the daytime version the first ABC daytime series to be regularly broadcast in color. Now, Here are the Here's the format. Typically, a bachelorette would question three bachelors who were hidden from her view. Now, of course, then then of course it would be maybe a man would be questioning three. Well, the bachelor questioning three bachelorettes. Anyway, let me get to this. At the end of the question period, she or he would choose one to accompany that one a date with expenses paid by the show. Now, other times there were celebrities who would question three players for dates for themselves, co-workers, or relatives. Now, before they were even contestants, Farrah Fawcett, Suzanne Summers, Yvonne Craig, Lindsay Wagner, Leif Garrett, Tom Selleck, and even Lee Majors appeared as contestants on the show in the 1960s and early 70s. Other contestants who appeared before becoming famous included The Carpenters, Jackson Bostwick, Michael Richards, Joanna Cameron, Andy Kaufman, who went under the pseudonym Baji Cameron, Steve Martin, Burt Reynolds, John Ritter, Phil Hartman, um, future Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Alex Kaczynski. Now, some contestants appeared even after they were fairly well known, including a young Michael Jackson, Brian Cummings, Dusty Springfield, Ron Howard, Maureen McCormick, Barry Williams, Sally Field, Richard Dawson, Jay North, and Paul Lynde. Now, trademark of the show was at the end of the episode, Lang and Wynn contestants would blow a kiss to the viewers. Now then, now, now for the gameplay, in the original version, generally the Bachelorette would ask questions written in advance on cards to each of the three hidden bachelors. The same question could be asked to multiple bachelors. This continued until the time ran out. The Bachelorette would make her choice based solely on the answers to her question. And again, same with the bachelor who would ask questions to three bachelorettes. Certain kinds of questions were off limits, such as name, age, occupation, and income. Now, for the 96 revival, now since I didn't know anything about the 80s revival, the 96 revival I was familiar with, most notably the Chuck Woolery run. For the first season, a different format was used. A notable change was that the prospective bachelor or bachelorette knew the first names of the three contestants at all times. Instead of asking questions of the contestants, the bachelor or bachelorette was presented with two pun-laden statements, each pertaining to one of the contestants. When chosen, a new statement replaced the old one. The potential date explained the reason why the fact pertained to him or her. Play continued until time expired, and then the bachelor or bachelorette would announce his or her choice. In several weeks of episodes that aired at various times throughout the season, another format was used. This format had the players choose a potential date based on appearance and another based on personality. To decide the looks portion, the bachelor or bachelorette would observe each contestant, another change not seen on any dating game series beforehand, for several seconds, with the contestants wearing noise-canceling headphones to prevent them from hearing the bachelor or bachelorette talking about them. The statement round was used to determine the personality portion. After the game ended, the bachelor or bachelorette would select one contestant based on appearance and one based on personality, then would be prompted to choose between the two. If the bachelor or bachelorette was to select the same contestant for both looks and personality, the contestant would win a $500 cash prize. The remaining two seasons reverted back to the original format, but there was more of a variety between bachelors and bachelorettes. Yeah, I actually seem to now. I've tried to look high and low for some reruns of the Chuck Woolery run because there was this one episode I recall when this guy was choosing from three bachelorettes, and he got chose bachelorette number three was this blonde chick who had, wow, these incredible looking shoes. They were, well, I don't know how to explain them, but wow. Anywho, now more recently, ABC brought back as the Celebrity Dating Game, hosted by actress Zoe Deschanel and singer Michael Bolton, which premiered in the summer of 2021. But unfortunately, it got canceled last April after only a mere 8 episodes. Believe me, I think they made a huge mistake of dropping the Gong Show reboot. Anyway, various episodes from the daytime run on ABC aired on Game Show Network. The remaining versions of this, which were made for primetime and for syndication, are assumed to exist in their entirety. I think you can find some of those on YouTube. Let's see. Anyway, there's been numerous celebrities, actually too many to mention, to be honest. Yeah, a whole lot of them, to be honest. Going all the way from Willie Ames to Joanne Worley. Incredible. Well, like I said, too many to mention. I've already mentioned a few of them and what have you. Now, the show used many contemporary songs ranging from those of Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass from the 1960s to pop music used for celebrity guest and band appearances. For the first few episodes at the beginning of the ABC run, live music was provided by the Regions, unrelated to the doo-wop band of the same name who were famous for their song Barbara Ann. A house band from Jack Martin's AM/PM on La Cienega Boulevard. Starting in 1966, the show used recorded music with the main theme provided by the Mariachi Brass, featuring trumpeter Chet Baker. The show used cover songs made by Skip Bannon and the group, and the Challengers. Now, the series used several songs by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass as cues for the show, including Spanish Flea when introducing The Bachelor, Whipped Cream when introducing The Bachelorette, and Lollipops and Roses when the dates meet. Other songs were used after the interview portion when guests were choosing a date, including Ladyfingers and Lemon Tree. Now, music used during celebrity guest appearances include several of them and what have you, including songs like I Want You Back from the Jackson 5 and Close to You, well, They Long to Be Close to You by the Carpenters. And they use other music cues as well. In 1972, the show added a Dixieland style closing theme called Little Rosie to its ABC daytime version. The tune was used also on the first two syndicated versions through 1980. The song, along with some of the show's other cues, was featured on the 1973 album Themes from TV Game Shows, produced by Chuck Barris. The show continued to use the 1966 opening theme until 74. During the 78 to 80 version, the show used a rearranged version of it. The 1978 opening theme is found on the Barris album's first track and is credited to Barris and David Mook. The 1980s reboot of the show used music composed by Milton DeLugg, while later editions featured a re-recording of the original theme by Steve Kaplan. And the music for the Celebrity Dating Game was composed by Cheche Alara. If I mispronounce that name, I do apologize. Now, there are also international versions of the game that was shown in Australia as well as in Europe, Mexico, and and a few others. Now, it's also had a legacy in his first autobiography, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, in 1988, which of course would later be a movie with George Clooney, I believe. No, not George. No, he didn't. He wasn't in that. He did that. It had Sam Rockwell. Oops, sorry, my mistake. Chuck Barris claimed that the show was a cover for CIA activities and was promoted by the CIA. However, his second memoir, The Game Show King: A Confession, mentions neither the CIA nor his previous book. A CIA spokesman has categorically denied that Barris ever worked for the agency in any capacity. The show's popularity in the 60s inspired a Baskin Robbins ice cream flavor called Dating Game. It was pink ice cream with diced dates and butter toasted pecans. In an episode of Laverne and Shirley in 1980, Lenny and Squiggy appear as bachelors on the Dating Game. See, the Dating Game was parodied by Steve Jobs during a 1983 Macintosh pre-launch event. And then there was a recurring parody featured on the current version of Let's Make a Deal called The Dealing Game, featuring Wayne Brady and Jonathan Mingham, both as different characters in each appearance. But instead of a date, each represents a Korean and tries to convince the contestant to pick his Korean, while Tiffany Coyne plays the role of the hostess. There would also be licensed merchandise, including 3 home games from Hasbro, one based on the original 65 version, and from 67 to 68, while Pressman released a home game based on the late 80s version in 87. In 1968, a 33 1/3 RPM party record called the Dating Game Party Pack, narrated by Jim Lang, was released. It included postcard invitations, name tags, and scorecards for 6 people to play. In the late 1990s, Sony's website released an online version of the Dating Game. There was a video slot machine based on the original 1965 version with an animated Jim Lang in 2004 in both nickel and quarter versions. In March of 2011, a new virtual version of the game was launched on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media network sites. The game was developed by 3G under license from Sony. So anyway, now you know about the Dating Game. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this show. I think it's a pretty fun game and what have you. I know I didn't take the time to ever watch much of the original. Well, I did watch the episode that featured the Carpenters, though. That was really something. I really enjoyed for what it had to offer and what have you. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, I gotta give this game credit and what have you. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Wide World of Game Shows. What did you think of the Dating Game? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And join me next time when I bring to you my review of Wedding Crashers. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, check out these other Wide World of Game Shows episodes. In the upper left-hand corner is the episode on the Newlywed Game. The upper right-hand corner is the episode I did on another Chuck Barris produced game. That's the underrated Three's a Crowd, which is still the most viewed episode of the Wide World of Game Shows. Or if you'd like another kind of dating game, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see the very first Wide World of Game Shows episode I did on Buzz. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Wide World of Game Shows, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week we'll be doing Love Connection. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.